All right, we have what other countries are told is American. I wanted to see this. This looked pretty good. There's also an alternate version where it's the other way around.
Hello, friends.
I want
My
to
name
watch
is
that video
JJ.
too.
So let me show you a photo that one of my European friends sent me the other day. It's of the American food section.
Pop-Tarts. Wait, there's flag. This flags look pretty wrong, but okay. Pop-Tarts, yes. Can I tell what flavor? No, not off there. Reese's Puff, good. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, good. Lucky Charms, good. Oreo O's, I don't know about that. What is this? This is My American Pancake Mix? I can't tell.
Of his local supermarket. I forget what country, but
A1
I've been
sauce.
to Europe enough time.
A1's. Oh, there's some good. I like that barbecue sauce. Both these barbecue sauces are good. I like both of them. A1 is good. I like A1 on a burger or a steak. I can't tell.
To know that sections like this are common all over the continent.
Reese's. Is that goldfish? There's goldfish down the bottom. A fluff? Really? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Sweet Baby Ray's is good. I like it. It's not... Use it too? Heck yeah, man. I actually got into a new barbecue sauce brand. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. It's my new favorite right now. But I used both of these, and I still will. Both of those barbecue sauces, they're good. They're pretty good. Trying to see. I love the fact that there's fluff. Why is there two kinds of fluff?
Even though the resolution isn't that great, if you're from America, I'm sure you can make out a few products. We got Goldfish, Airheads, Pop-Tarts.
Yeah. Okay. No, I can't tell. I don't know what flavor these Pop-Tarts are. I can't tell. It's not raspberry because none of those match. But I don't know any of those flavors.
A1 sauce, gluten-free hazelnut.
Oh, okay.
Coffee mate. Now the question would be whether this is actually an accurate portrayal of American food or simply a heavily exoticized one. Exoticism is a term used to describe the tendency of thinking of foreign cultures only in terms of how they differ from your own. This then leads to the habit of wrongly assuming that the weirder some foreign thing is, the more culturally traditional it must surely be. So in this case, obviously Americans don't actually eat things like Oreo cereal or spreadable.
What do you... yeah. Also, what? Like I said, what is this? Russ for 4 freaking years. 52 months.
Hiking has just resubscribed for 52 months. 4 years, yeah,
Also, Russ, I just want to let you know, Mex has DBZ as well. So I don't know if we can have more than one person, but we can drag Mex along. The tacos. B-man, thank you for the tacos. So, yeah. And a Dalinar. You only saw 1v2? Or do you mean 1v1? I don't know. We can see. I haven't checked it out. I haven't even installed... Excuse me. I haven't even installed the game yet, so... I have to see. I do still want to play it. I just don't know when I'm going to have the free few minutes to rub together to do it. But we'll see. We'll see. If I can, I want to try to play. But yeah, he just... Hold on. He says, like... Hold on.
Thing is, the more culturally traditional it must surely be. So in this case, obviously Americans don't actually eat things like Oreo cereal.
I mean, I don't, but I know people that do.
Or spreadable
I've eaten. I haven't had freaking marshmallow fluff in a long freaking time, but it's still freaking good. I like it. It's basically just freaking It's just sugar in a can, but you have to go grab some grub. All right, man. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Is it strawberry fluff? Strawberry fluff. Dude, I've never heard of it, but I would try it. I would try freaking strawberry flavored fluff. Actually, that does actually sound good.
Marshmallow fluff all that much, but they're nevertheless marketed.
Well, yeah, not all that much. Like I said, I don't even remember the last time I had fluff. But freaking peanut butter and fluff. Ooh. Peanut butter and freaking marshmallow fluff, that's some good stuff right there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not actually sorry at all. That's some good stuff.
Being super American because such products fit a certain European stereotype of Americans as a people who eat all of this decadent, high sugar nonsense. That said, Americans are of course just as guilty of doing this as anyone. Many supermarkets over here have the so-called world food section.
Yeah. Most of the what's funny is around here, the majority of the quote-unquote world food you're going to see around here is going to be Spanish, Asian. That's it.
Featuring imported products from other countries, often presented in some equally exoticized display. Ooh, puto. Exoticizing goes hand in hand with the other phenomenon we talked about the other week. Fauxthenticity. This is basically when you use a bunch of stereotypes of some foreign place to come up with a product or tradition that you then inaccurately present as being some normal part of their culture. Chinese fortune cookies, which are not actually a thing in China, but play into a certain...
Well, yeah, I knew about that one. I knew about the whole fortune cookie one. That was invented by American Chinese restaurants.
Exotic stereotype of the Chinese as mysterious fortune tellers would be a classic example. Anyway, today I thought we would look at a few examples of faux-authentic American traditions as practiced by non-Americans or in the world, and see what they can teach us about some of the interesting ways that Americans continue to be exoticized.
What the hell? Yeah, wait, you could already freaking pre-order that already? God dang. I mean, that seems a little early, but okay. Thanks, man, what the heck? I mean, I'm just surprised you can already be pre-ordered.
So, I lived in Japan briefly, and while I was there, I was able to see perhaps one of the world's most infamous faux-authentic American traditions up close. Fried chicken on Christmas. So, Christmas is a pretty weird holiday for the Japanese to be celebrating in the first place.
Fried chicken? I mean, look, I don't care what I eat on freaking, like, Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatnot. I mean, normally you think of like either over here it's either turkey or ham. It's either turkey or ham, but chicken? I mean, I'd do it.
Given it is not remotely a Christian country. But they do, and in a mostly superficial way that focuses on things like decorations and foods above even things like
I would eat some fried chicken on Christmas, I don't care. But I'd eat fried chicken anytime.
Is heavily filtered through assumptions of what Americans do. And apparently the Japanese have been convinced that eating fried chicken, especially KFC fried chicken, is the...
Let me guess. Someone at KFC in Japan pushed this. Someone that works for KFC in Japan pushed this and said, hey, this is popular during Christmas in America, so you should do it. Let me guess.
Traditional American thing. When you're in Japan around Christmas time, you will see big ads for special fried chicken Christmas combo deals all over the place. And a lot of Japanese kids will look forward to having a big KFC feast on December 25th. This faux-authentic tradition was supposedly the idea of just one man, Takashi Okawara, who ran the first Japanese KFC franchise and claims to have made up the Christmas thing as a marketing gimmick in the 1970s.
And after a few years, KFC for Christmas starts to get popular in Japan. And NHK, which is a national broadcaster, comes in to interview Mr. Okawara, and they want to know if KFC is an American Christmas tradition.
You are selling Kentucky Fried Chicken so well in Christmas. And is there common custom in overseas? And I would, I know that people are not eating chicken, they're eating turkey. But I said, yes, it was a lie.
It was a lie.
I still regret that.
Look, yeah. Turkey, ham, stuff like that. Yeah, that's more of what's going to be consumed during the holiday, during Christmas. But, if someone gave me the option, turkey or fried chicken, I'm going to pick fried chicken because I don't care for turkey. But at the same time, you could offer me fried chicken any day and I will eat some fried chicken.
A lot of Japanese people were quite shocked when I told them that no one in America actually eats fried chicken on Christmas, and that if anything, eating fast food on Christmas would be considered
slow cook a big piece of ham
thing in American culture.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm sure that a lot of Americans would also be shocked to learn that Japanese people do not eat sushi with rice on the outside. Speaking of fast food,
it's called a California roll. I'm not surprised that they don't do it that way. I don't understand why the California roll has rice on the outside in the first freaking place. Because the whole point of the sushi, is to roll the sushi in the wrap or whatever the heck it's called. I can't remember off the top of my head. So why are they putting the rice on the outside? I don't get it.
Wild, Fauxthentic American thing I have experienced firsthand on my travels is the Dutch practice of eating what they call American-style sauce on their French fries. You can buy it at places like McDonald's or in big bottles at the store. It's not that bad. I would describe it as basically what you would get if you put mayonnaise and relish together in the butter. And even real Dutch food, however, is what they call filet Americain, or American préparé in Belgium, which is a kind of pâté made of raw ground beef and often eaten on toast or crackers. There are a lot of theories about how this weird and possibly dangerous dish became associated with Americans, but when I was
Hell no.
People told me it was because during the war, there had become this stereotype that American soldiers all ate their steaks super rare, and then the Dutch beef industry just kind of...
Not super rare, but rare, yeah. I mean, we're not going to eat it raw. That's just nasty.
Kind of ran with that. That is almost certainly an apocryphal story, but hey, apocryphal stories are one of the key foundations upon which Fauxthentic traditions are built. In the comment section of my original Fauxthentic video, a bunch of my non-American friends have
that's
some
the one I want to
examples
watch next.
of their own of various head-scratching things they've seen marketed as being American style in their own countries. For example, some of my British viewers noted that British supermarkets sometimes sell supposed...
I mean, I will take medium. Medium well, if that's what they offer, if you offer me medium well, I will eat it. Medium, yes, I will eat medium every time. I like, what is it? Shoot. God damn it, I can't remember. Dude, it freaking left my brain. Medium rare. I like mine medium rare. Yeah. Medium rare to medium, exactly, is where I prefer my steak. I will eat it medium. I won't complain one bit if it's medium. I would prefer it to be medium rare, but medium well, nah. I'll still eat it. I'll still eat it, but I won't be that happy about it. You've tried under medium before? I mean, look, I get it. If you don't care for the texture, I get it, because there's a few things that I don't like to eat just because of the texture too.
American-style hot dogs in jars of brine.
In brine? Is it just brine saltwater? I mean, I guess technically in the packet, I guess it's brine. That is kind of odd. That is kind of odd. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Load up on that big stateside flavor.
Stateside flavor.
But if hot dogs in jars of brine are too weird for you, they do also sell them in cans of brine as well. Hot dogs are, of course, one of the great exoticized...
I mean, we can't really say anything because we have those little little weenies in a can, but still, it's kind of odd, but okay.
Symbols of American cuisine in much of the world, and as a result, slapping hot dogs on something is always a surefire way to market it as being American style. For example, in a lot of places, pizzas with hot dogs on them are presented as being American style
let me
pizzas.
See it.
Either
let me see
sliced up hot dogs, as in...
I'd eat it. Yeah, Vienna sausage. I couldn't think of what they were called. But yeah, little Vienna sausages in a can. That, you know, this right here, I'd eat it. I'd eat it. I like hot dogs. I put hot dogs in a lot of things. Having it on a pizza doesn't sound too bad.
This German pizza or entire wieners, as in this one from South Korea. In Italy, meanwhile,
I don't know about that
American pizza is apparently one with bits of hot dog and French fries. In Brazil, they sell allegedly California-style pizza with pineapple, figs, plums, and those bright red cherries they sell in cans.
What?
Though nothing can top this story.
Hold on. No. No. You already lost me with the freaking pineapple, but now there's figs and cherries and plum. What the frick? No. The hot dog pizza? Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm surprised that's actually not something that isn't already here. I'm surprised a hot dog pizza isn't something that's not already here. Someone shoot the guy. Yes, please.
Though nothing can top this story from my friend Daniel. My friend was doing graduate work in Poland and went out to eat and saw American pizza on the menu. When she ordered it, it came out as a plain cheese pizza, and the guy brought a can of creamed corn and poured it directly onto the pizza right there at the table. Many Americans who had lived or traveled abroad were keen to regale me with horror stories about what other countries seem to think
creamed
a traditional
corn?
American-style breakfast entails. Among other things, they described being served breakfasts that included stuff like baked beans, garlic bread, potato salad, and of course, hot dogs. One guy even complained about being served green orange juice in China.
How the hell? What? Green orange juice?
Friends told me about a dish that is apparently common in many Asian countries, known as American fried rice. This evidently
of course, it has freaking hot dogs in it. I would eat fried rice with hot dog. Yeah.
Rice. This evidently consists of rice cooked with ketchup, corn, and raisins, accompanied by a side of various stereotypical American delicacies like hot dogs, slices of bologna, fried eggs, and chicken nuggets, plus more ketchup. But my favorite story of a
why the ketchup?
American dish comes from my friend Camilo in Colombia. In Colombia, we have American-style hot dogs, which are enormous hot dogs with a chorizo wiener topped with melted cheese, crumbled potato chips, various sauces, and quail eggs. I was able to verify this with a photo. Camilo continues. We named it that because
hold on, no. Goddamn, he's going way too quick on some of these images. The nightmare fuel that is this thing. Quail. Who thinks this? What? Okay. First of all, everything else on here doesn't seem too bad. The bun is friggin' sesame bun. Okay, but it's just a bun. Whatever. The hot dog. Yeah, that looks like a extra big hot dog. Sure, whatever. But what?
A photo. Camilo
but it's quail eggs.
We named it that because of a common belief in Latin America that people in the USA eat big-sized foods with toppings and all that. You can't believe how disappointed I was when I tried an actual hot dog in the USA. All right, now let us do a lightning round of a few other much-beloved, allegedly American foods from around the world. Amerikaners, which are German cookies with black and white icing. These similar but distinct American cakes that the Poles make, which are these little doughy lumps with frosted undersides. And American.
It reminds me of a freaking honey bun but just upside down for whatever reason. Are really good. I've never had quail eggs. I'm just wondering why the hell they think we put them on hot dogs. But yeah, it just looks like a freaking a little honey bun, but instead or a freaking cinnamon roll, but with the icing on the bottom for whatever weird reason.
frosted undersides. An American sandwich, or a pan
What is it?
American,
What is it?
which is some sort of beef and French fry sandwich.
See, the thing is, I can't say shit about the fries being on the sandwich because I've seen people do this. I've seen people put their fries in like their burger. And I probably would still eat it. I would probably still eat it, but I would rather have my fries off to the side that I can munch on them either after or before I eat the sandwich. Yeah, it does kind of look like a cheesesteak with fries in it. I don't know why, but okay.
They sell in France. American salad, which is a kind of mayonnaise and carrot salad sold in Spain.
Mayonnaise.
And American dressing, a creamy sauce that the Swedes eat that's made of pickles, mayonnaise, and hot sauce. And
I really want to know if this is something that the Swedes okay. Like a god till burgari som korv och pasta.
That's made of pickles, mayonnaise, and hot sauce. And
I'm sorry if I butchered that horribly.
Now available in bacon flavor. But
hey, bacon flavor
Americana is not just limited to food, of course. A number of my foreign friends were eager to inform me that these things, which I guess we would call red solo cups,
red cup,
are a subject of considerable fascination in other parts of the world, where they are often sold as glamorous American party cups. I love this copy from this British online store. Everything about these disposable red American party cups says party. Whether you're planning a barbecue or a wild night of beer pong and American pop music, these red party cups are the perfect
It's just a plastic
option.
cup, guys.
Instantly recognizable from a number of American films, such as the American Pie series and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. These disposable cups are durable enough for even the wildest of parties. In
They're
Brazil,
just plastic
however,
cups.
They call a cup that looks like this an American cup. Brazilians also call placemats American sets for some reason. They have a similar situation in Italy, where a placemat is known as an American tablecloth.
Do they not have
really
placemats?
That American of a thing? My friend Marcelo, meanwhile, tells me this story. I visited Chile one time, and they have stores out there called American stores. These stores are actually
Next, we have to remember to talk to Nice Man about this.
But they call them that because they mostly have American types of clothing, such as American football jerseys, American brands, American college shirts, etc. It was pretty funny, to be honest. This reminds me of another wild story I can tell you from my time in Japan. There was this neighborhood in Tokyo called Harajuku that was known for having a lot of cool hipster fashion stores. And they would have these American fashion stores where they would sell like Tommy Hilfiger and Supreme and all of that. But in order to have the full American experience, they would employ these big black guys wearing, do-rags and chains and basketball jerseys to stand out front of the stores and beckon the Japanese people to come in. But these guys were not actually African American, but rather literal African immigrants from places like Senegal or Ghana, who I assume were much cheaper to hire. And they would be trying to lure you into these stores with their cool American hip-hop slang, but spoken through these thick African accents from people who, in many cases, clearly barely understood English. Now, in Russia, there is nothing the kids love more than heading down to the old theme park and riding the American slide, which is what they call roller coasters over there, which is kind of ironic since
slide,
in a lot of European countries they call roller coasters Russian mountains, and the historians seem to agree that they were actually invented in Russia as well. But still, I'm sure Americans would much rather be associated with roller coasters than brass knuckles, or as the French call them, American fists. Or how about duct tape, which is called American tape in Spain. All right, now let us close with a really good summary of what is perhaps one of the best examples of a faux-authentic American phenomenon that wound up going mainstream in America itself. My friend Christopher writes, I think one example of something that is a product of a foreign country's idea of American culture that America kind of reappropriated for itself is the spaghetti western
it was from
genre,
Italian.
as the name suggests. The
It's Italian movies.
Originated in Italy as Italian filmmakers made movies based on a largely mythical understanding of the American West. American filmmakers then began to import the style in their own films about the American West, and it proved very popular among American filmgoers, even if its representation of the Wild West is only very loosely based
it's
on the
freaking
truth.
Hollywood, so
film that utilizes a lot of the spaghetti western tropes is the Quentin Tarantino film Django Unchained. The term spaghetti western is itself also quite interesting because, as we discussed in the previous video, spaghetti has become one of the most Americanized Italian foods in the US. So there is something wonderfully poetic and circular about using the name of an Americanized Italian food to describe Italianized American history. So I hope you enjoyed these two deep dives into the exciting world of authentic culture. If you have any ideas of how I could stretch out this premise any further, please let me know in the comments. Don't forget to check out the first video if you haven't already, and I will see you next week.
That we're actually gonna watch right now.
My name is JJ. So,
dude, I'm sorry I paused it, but this is a horrible pause. But damn, that's some
the United States welcomes more immigrants than any other country on Earth, which has resulted in basically all of the world's cultures having some sort of presence within its borders. On the one hand, this makes America an amazingly educational place where curious folks can sample little snippets of all sorts of global traditions and learn about the practices of the wider world through immigrant ambassadors. But on the other hand, the practice of bringing foreign cultures to America can also result in them getting a little bit distorted over time, cut off from their birth country. Immigrants, and especially their children and grandchildren, may gradually start to lose touch with the home country and start to practice their old world customs in a way that bears increasingly little resemblance to what their parents or grandparents did. As they become more Americanized, they might likewise update or modernize their traditions in a way that seems more consistent with the tastes and preferences of the American majority, particularly if they are involved in the business of selling their culture in some way. And of course, there is also the infamous practice of what we now call cultural appropriation, where Americans from outside of immigrant communities take it upon themselves to take over or improve some immigrant cultural thing that they may broadly like, but still feel needs a few tweaks. All of this adds up to what I am going to call the phenomenon of Fauxthenticity, which is when a cultural item or practice in modern America has a pretense of representing some foreign or old world tradition, but is instead a thoroughly unique American thing. To be clear, I do not think that this is a bad phenomenon. In fact, Fauxthenticity can be an inspiring manifestation of the great American melting pot, where endless immigrant cultures swirl together and create new, distinctly American cultural traditions. But there can be no denying that Fauxthentic stuff can be quite confusing as well, or even slightly deceptive if not understood in its proper context. So let's give that a try. If you've ever been to a Chinatown in the US before, you've probably seen one of these things. A Chinatown gate. The style is a great example of a certain sort of Fauxthentic architecture, a design that is supposed to look Chinese, but isn't based on any actual Chinese tradition. Instead, it is a style that mostly white architects dreamed up as they rebuilt San Francisco's Chinatown after the earthquake of 1906. That obviously seems a little bit condescending, but in the century since, the style has been happily embraced by Chinese Americans all over this continent, including here in Vancouver, as something that's authentically theirs, even if it may not be all that authentically Chinese. Vox did a great video about this recently that you should totally check out.
It didn't look like China, but it didn't have to. The point was to make Chinatown a built-in feature of the city and a hub of not just trade, but tourism.
But of course, architecture based on relatively ill-informed cultural cliches is nothing new. You could even say that the entire city of Washington, D.C. is a monument to Fauxthentic sensibilities, given the number of prominent buildings done up in a style designed to evoke ancient Rome and Greece as part of the larger American project to set up a government.
And, you know, they obviously did that on purpose. They 100% did that on purpose.
In the style of ancient Rome and Greece. And critics would say that neither the buildings nor the political system was all that faithful to the source material. So-called ethnic holidays are a similar story. Cinco de Mayo, or May 5th, celebrates Mexico's 1862 defeat of the French army of Napoleon III in the Battle of Puebla. It was an event that had a lot of geopolitical significance at the time, but is now mostly forgotten, especially in Mexico itself, where the anniversary really isn't even an official holiday. The fact that May 5th has nevertheless somehow wound up as America's preeminent celebration of Mexican pride.
Look, I'm going to be honest. Freaking, we've embraced it. What do you want? What do you want? And now it's used as a reason to party. I'm sorry. That's just the main 100%. It's a reason to party. Nothing wrong with that.
Makes it a good example of this sort of phenomenon we're talking about. You have a day dedicated to celebrating Mexican culture, despite being of limited importance to actual Mexico, meaning that basically all of the associated festivities and traditions are purely American in origin, which is fine, because at this point, American Chicano culture certainly has plenty of traditions that Mexicans in Mexico can't necessarily relate to, but deserve celebration just the same. Where things get problematic is when festivities drift so far from even Mexican-American culture that you're left with little more than Cinco de Drinko. St. Patrick's Day is quite similar. It had a long history as an important religious
It is a reason to party.
Holiday in Ireland, but it was the Americans who came up with the idea that it should be this big extravaganza of Irish cultural pride. In fact, the wild thing is that unlike Cinco de Mayo, St. Patrick's Day actually became a bigger deal as America's ties to Ireland grew weaker, with parades and parties continuing to grow throughout the late 20th century, even as America's population of first-generation Irish immigrants continued to shrink. Perhaps for this reason, the version of Irish culture that is celebrated on St. Patrick's Day has become notoriously Fauxthentic, with a focus on things like green beer and green rivers and shamrock shakes and corned beef dinners and pinching people who aren't wearing green and all sorts of other things that they don't actually do in Ireland.
Yeah, I don't understand that part, but okay.
In fact, Irish authorities eventually grew envious of the American take on St. Patrick's Day, and beginning in the 1970s, tried to re-import the American version of their holiday, often by explicitly consulting American St. Patrick's Day experts. Today, St. Patrick's Day has become a big deal in Ireland as well, but it did take a while for it to fully catch on. I like this quote.
So, it was made over here to celebrate. Okay, and then it got exported back to Ireland. Okay.
Here in this book about the history of St. Patrick's Day.
By marching down Fifth Avenue and elsewhere, Americans and Canadians with an Irish lineage renewed their ties with an Ireland they conceived as home. For the Irish themselves, St. Patrick's Day, so long as it sought to copy North American celebrations, would be a comparatively empty experience. How do you celebrate home when you're already there?
The most classic example of Fauxthenticity, however, has got to be food.
That's still impressive, though. That's still impressive that they kind of took it. They kind of took it back. Which, if you ask me, I think that's fair.
One of the big jokes about American culture, in fact, is that if a food has some foreign land in its name, it's pretty likely that people actually from that foreign land either won't recognize it or will be slightly offended by it. It's really quite remarkable how many common foods Americans explicitly identify with some sort of foreign adjective were things that were actually invented in America to embrace some imagined foreign standard of quality, as opposed to a legit foreign tradition brought to America. Some noteworthy examples would include Swiss cheese, which as Americans know it, is a knockoff version of what the actual Swiss call Emmental cheese, Italian ice, which is a distinct American evolution of the Italian dessert known as granitas, English muffins,
never heard of that.
which are an American take on the British crumpet, French roast coffee, which is a name that apparently arose from an old American stereotype that all Europeans drank their coffee super dark, and Russian salad dressing, which as far as I can tell simply gets its name because it was something Americans in the early 20th century figured Russians might eat. And then there's the super confusing story of German chocolate cake, which was named after an American brand of chocolate, which was named after an American guy named Sam German, who was not actually German, but it's still got bound up in a certain
Sam German, who isn't German. Okay.
Sentimental idea of Germany as the land of chocolate, alongside Black Forest cake, which also has a super confused origin story, but does seem to be at least a little bit more authentically German. Less on-the-nose examples would be the many foods that American culture classifies as belonging to a foreign cuisine, even though they were invented in the United States. Chop suey would be the ultimate Fauxthentic dish, something that feels very exotic and even has an exotic sounding name, but as most Chinese people know, was actually invented in America for Americans. There is more of these sorts of dishes than you might imagine.
Remember
chimichangas were invented in Arizona. Spaghetti meatballs,
chimichangas are good.
New York. And California rolls are from
California.
California. I did a couple other videos where I talked about this whole phenomenon of made-up foreign foods. Now, a particularly fun example is the fortune cookie, which is not only a Fauxthentic Chinese food, but a full-on Fauxthentic Chinese tradition. As is so often the case, no one is able to speak with 100% certainty as to when fortune cookies first became a thing, but what everyone does seem to agree on is that they are a purely American invention that isn't actually found in Asia. Fortune cookies, like the Chinese gates, can be seen as an example of immigrants playing into a certain stereotype of themselves. In this case, the idea of the mysterious fortune-telling Oriental. As a result, some Asian Americans may even regard them as an offensive anachronism from a more condescending age. I remember the Ben & Jerry's people had to apologize after putting fortune cookie pieces in their Jeremy Lin-themed ice cream. You see a similar growing backlash to some of the other Orientalist imagery that was often used to market Chinese stuff to white Americans back in the day, such as this type of lettering, which is now often considered quite cringe, if not outright racist. Which brings us to the dark side of the Fauxthentic phenomena. At what point do you cross the line from merely dreaming up new ideas inspired by a foreign culture and instead start pushing culturally ignorant nonsense that is only popular because it panders to shallow stereotypes? So I am sure I am just beginning to scratch the surface of this whole rich topic. Since I know I have such a wonderfully international audience, I'd be curious to know if any of you guys have any other good examples of American cultural practices that have a pretense of foreignness, but are really pretty far removed from the country they supposedly come from, or maybe even in the opposite direction as well. I've been around the world enough to know that there is plenty of stuff that foreign countries market as authentically American that has very little resemblance to anything found in actual American culture. But let me know in the comments, and I will see you next week.
Nice. Dude, there's a lot of that stuff that understandable. I'm still tripping about the whole thing about freaking St. Patrick's Day. That is damn. I knew that it was more of an American thing, but I didn't know that they actually tried to copy it. That's kind of neat. It's kind of neat. I don't know. But yeah, I would try that hot dog pizza. I would definitely try that hot dog pizza. Hell yeah.